Season of Discovery has been out for a little over a month now, and with Phase 2 looking like it's going to be coming towards the end of January and early February, it's time to start looking into what gear we're going to be needing for our pre-raid bis in Phase 2. Now, many of you have been asking for a rogue pre-raid bis guide, and it's time to finally get one. However, in Phase 2, rogues run into some issues with enemies in the new raid as their current build focuses on poisons and bleeds. And without knowing if Blizzard is going to change this to allow bleeds and poisons on mechanical bosses, we can expect rogues to change their build to the backstab build instead of the saber slash build for Phase 2. With that being said, both builds use very similar gear, so it doesn't affect their Pre-Bis very much whether Blizzard decides to do something about it or not. Now before we start, we have some ground rules to lay out for which pieces can be picked to be on the list. Items of rare or hard quality that are world drops or have a very low drop chance will not be included on this list, as the chance of you actually obtaining them is extremely low, unless you have the gold to buy them, which most people do not. Green items that can be bought in the auction house will be listed, but if this is the case, alternatives will also be given, as we do not know how much they will sell for, and it can vary based on the server. We also do not know what gear Blizzard is going to add to professions for Phase 2 that might be better than currently known gear, so the gear listed is the best gear that we know of at the time of recording. Now with that being said, let's get on with the Pre-Bis list for rogues in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. Starting out with the helm slot, our bis we are looking to bring into Gnomeregon is the Artemis Cowl from Lady Service in the Black Fathom Deeps raid. This helm gives us 24 attack power and 7 agility, which no other helm even comes close to. Now if you're unable to obtain this helm, some slightly weaker alternatives are going to be Twilight Slayer's Cowl, also from the Black Fathom Deeps raid, and the White Bandit Mask from Tailoring. Moving on to necklaces, the best neck you're going to be able to get is the Zealous Shadow Shard Pendant. This is obtained from the Shadow Shard Fragments quest that you can get from this guy in Orgrimmar or this guy in or around Theramore that requires you to venture into Maraudon. This neck gives you a big 20 attack power and will be a huge upgrade for those who obtain it. For the Alliance alternative, the Sentinel's Medallion from the Warsong Gulch Reputation vendor is going to be the best option you can obtain. This should be easily bought, as currently you can reach the required reputation of Honored by doing the Ashenville PvP event. The amount of reputation is insane from this event, and it shouldn't take you too long to reach Honored if you aren't there already. For our shoulders, our best option is going to be the Failed Flying Experiment shoulders from the Rescue quest in Preius. These shoulders give us a ton of agility and strength and are by far the best shoulders you can obtain before Gnomeregon. The nearest alternative to this is the Nightscape shoulders from Leatherworking, which have about half the power as Failed Flying Experiment shoulders and are hard to recommend even as an alternative due to the sheer power difference between the two items. Our best cloak for Pre-Bis in Phase 2 is going to be the Dark Hooded Cape, which gives us 10 agility and 4 strength and is obtained by killing Nymar the Slayer in Southeast Arathi Highlands. Unfortunately, this cloak has only a 7% drop chance, the rare has a 5 to 8 hour respawn timer, and many other classes also want this as their Pre-Bis. An alternative to this cloak would be the Hawkeye's Cloak or a level 40 green cloak of plus 10 agility. Both equal up to 10 attack power and are going to be your next best option after the Dark Hooded Cape. For our chest piece, we're going to look for the best level 40 of power green chest piece we can find, like Ranger Tunic of Power or Wild Leather Vest of Power. These can give us a massive 38 attack power and are leagues ahead of the next best piece of gear. If you are unable to obtain these, as they will most likely be very expensive from the auction house, try to obtain any other of power chest piece that has a higher attack power value than 26. The best piece of gear you can obtain besides an of-power chest is the Blazewind Breastplate from the Tremors of the Earth questline in the Badlands, which gives you 23 agility, 5 stamina, and 3 strength and is a significant decrease in comparison to an of-power chest. So if you were going to buy anything from the auction house in terms of gear, an of-power chest piece would be the choice to make. For bracers, our best option is going to be the Forest Stalker's bracers from the 2 Warsong Gulch reputations. In order to obtain these, you will need to be exalted with either the Silverwing Sentinels or Warsong Outriders, which can only be achieved by doing over 100 Warsong Gulch matches after you've hit Revered. If you are not up to the task, the next closest alternative of level 40 green attack power bracers isn't too far behind, coming in with 20 attack power to the 22 attack power gained from the Warsong Gulch bracers. However, because the epic bracers gain their attack power from agility, which also increases our crit chance, plus the addition of 6 extra stamina, the Warsong bracers cannot be ignored and are definitely a better option. Our gloves are going to be the exact same going into Gnomeregon, so if you already have the Void Touch leather gloves from Leatherworking, you already have your Pre-Bis going into Phase 2. But if you do not have leatherworking and you are Alliance, your next best alternative is going to be Pratt's handcrafted gloves from the Mark of Quality quest in Preius. For Horde, your next best option is going to be either Imperial Leather Gloves or Green Gloves of Power that give you plus 18 attack power. In comparison, the hit and on-use effects from the Void Touch Leather Gloves is hard to overlook in exchange for the stats in the other two, but are quite close in terms of gains, so if you do not have the leatherworking epic gloves, don't feel too left out. Our best belt is going to be the Highlander's Leather Girdle coming from Honored with the new Arathi Basin reputation, which will likely also be obtained from the PvP event in Stranglethorn Vale in Phase 2, like we were able to obtain the Warsong Gulch reputation from the PvP event in Ashen Vale in Phase 1. This gives us a massive 30 attack power and is a big increase over any other alternatives, as the next best thing gives us only 18 attack power. Because of this, it is highly recommended to farm out the reputation to Honored, as the attack power that the belt is giving us is quite hard to beat for the time that it takes to get to Honored. For our best pants, it will again be any level 40 green pants of power that give you 38 attack power, and the only alternatives that come close to this for Alliance is the Griffin Rider's leggings from the Saving Sharpbeak questline in the Hinterlands. This questline can be started at level 40 from Griffin Master Talon X with the quest Witherbark Cages. These pants give us a total of 15 agility and 15 strength, giving us 30 attack power, which is a decent bit behind the green power pants that we can attain. For Horde, there really isn't any other decent option for pre-raid besides the of-power green pants, and hopefully won't be too expensive on the auction house. Our boots are going to be the last item following the theme of being a level 40 green of-power piece, giving us 28 attack power. The next best alternative is the Excelsior boots from the quest Excelsior in Stranglethorn Vale. This is started from Drizzlick after completing the quest Some Assembly Required, also started by Drizzlick. There's a massive 12 attack power difference between these two options, so it is highly recommended to either farm or buy the green of power gear. Best two options for rings is going to be the Protector's Band from Honored with whichever Warsong Gulch reputation that is aligned with your faction, that is bought from the vendor in either Ashenvale or the Barrens at level 38, and a second option is going to be Mason's Fraternity Ring from the Divine-O-Matic Rad quest at level 40 from Chief Engineer Bilge Whistle in Gadgetzan. This requires you to go into the Zul'Farrak dungeon and defeat Sergeant Bly before turning it in Gadgetzan. Both of these are very easy to obtain, so no other alternatives will be listed. Our best trinkets are going to be the Avenger's Void Parle from the Blackfathom Deeps raid, and whichever other trinket you're able to obtain. There are some good engineering trinkets if you're an engineer, and if you aren't, you can use some of the PvP trinkets for some extra HP. For our ranged weapon, we are looking to get the Bill Modon Blunderbuss from the Blackfathom Deeps raid that drops off the last boss, Akumai. Other alternatives are going to be the Naga Heartrender, also from the Blackfathom Deeps raid that dropped from Lady Cerevis, and the Outrider's Bow from Revered with the Warsong Gulch reputation that your faction aligns with that gives a little bit more stamina if you're hurting for some health. Remember, if you are enjoying this video and want more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like the video so I know you want to see more content like this. Now, depending on which build is going to be prevalent for Gnomeregon, our weapons are going to change, as we will either be playing the Saber Slash build or the Backstab build, of which the Backstab build requires a dagger in the main hand. If we are playing the Saber Slash build, we will want to get the Protector Sword from Revered with whichever Warsong Gulch reputation aligns with your faction, which can be bought from your vendor in Ashenvale or Barrens, and for our offhand, we will want to obtain a fast green of power dagger like the Sacrificial Kriss of Power for the fast applications of deadly poison and the great attack power that it gives us. For the Backstab build, our main hand weapon needs to be a dagger, so our best option is going to be either the Sentinel's Blade or the Scout's Blade, depending on which faction you are. That's either going to be the Warsong Outriders or the Silverwing Sentinels, and you have to be revered with them, and you can attain it from their reputation vendor. For the Backstab build offhand, we care more about the stats that the weapon gives rather than the speed or the weapon type. For Horde, our best option is going to be the Vanquisher's Sword from the Bring the End quest in Razorfen Downs, which is started by Andrew Brownell in Undercity. This sword gives us 28 extra attack power, which is much higher than we can get from any other option. For Alliance, our best option is also going to come from the Warsong Gulch reputation at Revered in the Protector Sword. While nowhere near as much extra stats as the Vanquisher's Sword for Horde, for Alliance, this is the best option that we have, and that we'll be able to obtain prior to the raid. And with that, we are fully geared and ready for Gnomeregon for Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. While some of our gear cannot be obtained until Phase 2, A lot of our pre-raid Bis gear can either be prepared for with Western Gulch reputations or by obtaining the items in the Black Fathom Deeps raid. If you disagree with anything in the video, have any questions, or any suggestions on what class I should do a guide on next, make sure to leave a comment below, and I'll try to respond as soon as I see them. Until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in Season of Discovery.